Здравейте, драги слушатели, и добре дошли в поредния епизод на БГ Кофи подкаст. Казвам се Димана и съм вашата водеща. Днешният ни епизод ще бъде с мой приятел и бариста Ед от TARM, кафене в София. Някои от вас може би познавате Ед. Ако не го познавате, ще се запознаете днес през този епизод с него. Тук искам да направя важно уточнение. Този епизод ще бъде на английски изцяло, тъй като Ед все още не е научил българския. Надявам се все пак епизодът да ви бъде интересен. Настанете се удобно, направете си едно хубаво кафе и приятно слушане. In Sofia, Bulgaria. The episode is, as you can guess, in English. I hope you will enjoy it. Grab yourself a cup of coffee or two. And thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be a guest on the podcast. As I said in the intro, this episode is going to be in English because my guest doesn't speak Bulgarian that good just yet. But if you guys have a good Bulgarian teacher, DM me. And I will leave you to introduce yourself. Say what you do, where you do it, like what's your official title, so to speak. Yeah, well.
Right. So thank you for inviting me on this podcast. I'm super honored, and it's super cool to see how these things happening here, and I'm super glad to be a part of it. And basically, my name is Ed. I'm coming from Ukraine, and I had been working in coffee for I believe 3.5 years or something. And for the last year, I'm living and operating in Bulgaria. Have been working.
I love it. It's very, shady. What's
Right.
up?
Right. Refugee. And
Unfortunate situation.
yeah, but that's life. It happens. And yeah, right. Basically, at the moment, I'm working in a freshly opened coffee shop called TARM that my partner, friend, employer, Mr. Martin, offered me to open with him to do like a coffee part there with like equipment, coffee selection, and everything. And so far, everything is going super great. And yeah, happy to be here, happy to be of a help. And it's super nice to like talk coffee at the moment.
And nerd out on coffee.
A little bit.
I will tell our story in a bit, but I want to first give you the opportunity to say like how you ended up in coffee, like from the beginning. You said 3 years or so.
Around.
Working. Yeah, more or less. Okay. Which is very funny because today I realized like apparently I'm in coffee, as they say, for probably more than 8 years now.
Right, it's pretty impressive.
But I keep saying it's like, no, it's just 5-7 years, and it's 10 already, probably. But
Crazy,
anyway, so yeah, what's your story, like how you started in coffee?
So let's say I was around 16, 17 years old, and I started as, my coffee journey started from having like 2 latte with salted caramel in like a span of 10 minutes, and then coming back in half an hour to get another one. And that was like my entrance drink in the industry. And then like for some weird reason, I decided that I want to drink like black coffee, and like I was drinking super overburned mocha pots at home, like from Lavazza or something, and it was like you're just drinking 1 cup and your eyes are like twice as open as they could possibly be. And yeah, and that was basically it. Once I came to the coffee shop where I always had been going, and I'm like, yeah, can you do me this thing? What was that? Chemex. I don't really know what is that. Like, is it something black and like without sugar? Because I'm apparently became sugar free for like quite not a big time, and like barista there like look at me like, dude, who broke you? Like everything is all right with you? Like, because before I was like drinking gallons of sugar with coffee.
I hope your doctor is not listening to this podcast, 'cause, like,
Yeah.
for sure.
Exactly. And basically that's how I get to know like what coffee is more or less. And after it I just start regularly drinking filter, but like I was still super super far away from like understanding how it works. I'm just I kind of like it. I don't know why. And then there was a time of my life when I thought that I'm gonna be like UI UX designer, and I was doing a course, and then I was trying to bring up a portfolio, and it didn't really work as I wished. And I thought to myself like, okay, I'm like 18, I need to work somewhere, I need to get my own money, I cannot like rely on parents. And basically I decided that like if I'm not getting employed as a designer, that didn't happen, I will go and like try just to send my CVs in the best places I could work at, because I didn't want to work like at some random place. And I ended up working in like one super great it was a restaurant and hotel and rooftop bar at the same time in Odessa city called Brick. And at that time the bar manager there, at the moment my super dear friend Yana, she was basically like managing me there, and I started there as a runner. And then I was just like, oh, can I make coffee for myself? Can I make coffee for myself? And then like when the season, like summer finished, I was like, oh, can I try to be a barista? It was like also a bartender, because you was supposed to know alcohol and like do cocktails. And yeah, basically that was my entrance. And I'm just like super grateful for this opportunity to my super dear friend Yana, who introduced me to this. Huge shout out to this like completely new world, and that she like gave me this approach that actually afterwards helped me to like not only to get into this, but also to support my life, after all the events that took place after this. Like basically like 3 months after it, I was supposed to move out of my hometown. I moved to like another country, and that where like I started making a living out of it, like for real.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's basically a long story short.
Let me see if I do my calculations right. What, you're 21?
Yeah.
Now, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Ooh, I feel very old. Very old.
Come on.
Our acquaintance happened, like our story. You actually started working in Bulgaria for Dreka.
Right.
You were a barista there, and because I usually used to go there because I don't live in Sophia anymore, but I just used to go there, and I really enjoyed the coffee you were making for me. So we got talking, and one thing led to another, and it turned out we were both crazy about coffee. So
right.
Here we are recording this podcast right now.
Yeah.
This episode. So basically, your story is kind of how like a little bit more unusual than the rest of the people that I've talked to like offline, because they kind of like just try it out, but they're really unsure until some years later that pass. It seems to me like you kind of like went in immediately, were hooked to coffee. I mean, as soon as you started working more with it. Did you have any official training or whatever?
No, not really. So I think what is super helpful, and what people are like really, I think more people should be recommended this book that is like actually super famous. I don't know why like not every coffee person are like not taking this into account. Like First 50 or 60 pages of like coffee atlas of James Hoffmann is like immediately gets you in the right, first of all, in the right perspective on like what is going on, and then just like there is so much of content that gives you the knowledge from like all the possible perspectives online, for sure. Like, I mean, I don't want to say it, but I will say that like a really big role played like Lance Hendricks videos, because basically I had like in between like me being in my hometown in Odessa and then moving and living for like year or so in Tel Aviv, I had like a half a year of me not working with coffee at all. And so basically what I was doing, I was like watching his videos to like just like refresh my memories and to kind of get some new stuff and kind of be still inspired and like into it. And the thing that was how I basically like, when I used to work in my hometown, I didn't really know how to do latte art. Like I was super bad in frothing milk and stuff. And then I was just like, I'm like, I just was like, I kind of was like, it's like, it's just like, it was always kind of easy for me. And then I was like, wait, but when I just started out, it took me something like 6 months to get like comfortable. Like I was just like fucking up every third cappuccino that I was making. And then like really only after I was watching like a lot of times his videos on latte art, and then what I was doing, I cutted like a piece of bottle, like liter and a half bottle, and then I just like made a nozzle by like heating up one of the sides, and then I was just like pouring water into cup because I didn't have like funds to do anything else. So I was just like doing this, and then as soon as and then another thing that I realized that like you cannot really, talking about latte art, you cannot really be super good at it unless you one day you would do like more than like 100 200 lattes or cappuccinos at a day, and like if you're not working in super 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 busy environment, it's super hard to get it straight away. Like if you practice it super like toughly for the whole day, it is possible, but if you do it like if it's like low day and it's always more or less like not super busy, it's very hard to get latte art in like 1 month. That's my opinion.
It's I've also, my super short career in the specialty coffee world as a barista for like a week, I can attest to that really frothing milk and just doing latte art of any kind, even like the simplest thing in the world, is muscle memory, I think. Like
exactly,
really, you have to practice it, practice, make it over and over and over.
And also to have your hands steady and not shaking.
Yes.
Even this is not the easiest thing at the first time.
People that are making coffee, I'm not talking about specialty coffee places. I'm talking about your regular places that at least has an espresso machine.
Second wave.
Kind of second wave-ish. Yeah.
In between first and second.
1.5 waves. But what really pisses me off, I don't care about the latte art so much. I don't really care if the milk has like a microfoam or whatever. I can live without that. But when the milk gets burnt to the ground, that's what pisses me off. Because I've had this experience of like being invited one time to a coffee shop that will go unnamed, but the people were kind enough and they invited me to just see the place and to determine whether it was a fit to add to the guide to my website. And I ordered, of course, a cappuccino because that's usually what I drink out when I go out, simply because I don't have an espresso machine at home. So what you don't have, you always want, right?
Valid.
And anyway, as soon as I saw it, I knew the milk was going to be not good. And it was so hot, literally burned my tongue. I couldn't taste anything after that. So I was like, oh, maybe not.
Right.
But yeah, if I was to really give any advice to just anyone opening a coffee shop that has an espresso machine that can froth milk, guys, please watch a Lance Hedrick video on how to froth milk at least once to know not to burn the milk. I don't care if you do tulips or swans or whatever, but at least, get the temperature right and then go from there. And actually, next time I see Lance somewhere, I don't know, I'm gonna thank him for,
Yeah, please do.
for teaching you how to do milk properly.
And like a couple of thousand of hundreds people more.
Because honestly, like, I tend to gravitate towards places where I know people know how to make the milk right. Because the coffee, you can kind of get it right. Especially when
as soon as it hits the milk.
But people who really know how to do my milk is like, you're my people. So yeah, it's normal. I mean, when it's done right and how the two blend together, it's just out of this world for sure. All right. So I don't have a prepared questionnaire for you, so it's gonna be very freehand and
Sure.
like super easy. But tell me, do you plan to like stay in the coffee scene, and where do you see yourself like in some time ahead in the future? Let's say, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, for example.
Well, it's a pretty philosophical question in a way. It's a pretty tough question in a way, but it's super complex. As for now, I was negotiating with myself about it, but as for now, I think I am staying for sure. And
Thank you. I think half of Sophia is like, oh, probably we can breathe. He's
Oh my
here.
I'm blushing.
We make our cappuccinos every day.
Yeah, and so the thing is, as for now, I'm super excited about the project I'm currently working on, and there is like a lot of things to come. And as for now, we are working with the roastery from Copenhagen, Prologue, but I'm very much trying to also, as soon as like we're gonna be ready, like from different angles, to get more high-end roasteries. We're currently thinking of some, I won't name particular what, but like some Parisian beans that like it feels like Paris now is one of the capitals, or not the one, but like so much good coffee there, and at least 2-3 amazing super high class roasteries. So I really want to, as for now, focus on what we have to sustain and to improve the things that we do have now. I also like, it has been just around 3 months, like maybe a bit less. So yeah, we started out on 30th of November. So it's super fresh, and the dynamic, as I see, is nice. And I just want to like unveil it, to open it up more, and to, let's say, start to have more, as soon as, let's say, it's gonna be some season of some fruit, to start to have something, something seasonal to at the same time. As for now, I'm thinking that there could be also more like options of the coffee. There could be also more as well, where like we started with the one equipment, and at the moment we're also thinking of like upgrading and stuff, so to improve also the quality of the beverages that we already have, like like a coffee classic and etc. And so on. So also in this regard, we're also stuck to we're thinking of doing like some sort of pop-ups, of different kinds but just like as soon as we're gonna be 100% stable and we will figure out more on how it works, because of course it's like proba greshka. It's like something works, something is not working. There is no other way other than like doing and understanding and making right decisions, even if some mistakes took place that like you cannot get better without it. But again, I'm super happy and super excited on this part. So this is one thing. Another thing is like I'm also thinking of like maybe in like certain time to start thinking of opening a place, doing something on my own, etc. But I still feel like I have a lot of things to learn also about like managing the people, managing place, understanding like small nuances, and like to be on top of everything. And so I'm still even after 3.5 years of working, that is like not super long time, but still I'm still learning stuff. So let's proceed with it and see how it goes. And like for now I decided I'm enjoying the journey.
Okay, so to sum it up, you're staying here for a while,
right?
That's the most important part. At least for all of us that like your work. So
I appreciate it.
Tell me a little bit more about TARM, and feel free to like a host of one podcast, coffee related podcast that is getting a shout out right now, Coffee Cut Roasting. Andy is saying plug and promote.
Sure.
Whatever you feel like it. I wanted to do it in the beginning, forgot about it, but now is also a good time, Zeni. So
great.
But tell me what was your concept going into, because at such a young age.
Oh my God.
My dear. I mean, to become like a partner in such an adventure, it's like awesome. At least from my perspective, because I'm super into coffee, but I'm only in the past couple of like years, maybe 3-4 years, I'm more invested into it. And for me, that's like a dream come true, what you are currently doing. So tell me, what was your concept going into designing your bar? Like how did you envision it? Like, is it working out the way you envisioned it? Like what was your thinking around that?
Well, let's put it also from the start straight, that like the main shout out I would direct to my current employer, Martin, because he is the person who like I think was the engine of this, and I just got lucky. I think he is also a bit, of like the fact that we, first met super randomly. Then I super randomly just like popped by to buy a jar of jam from him that I super enjoyed, the melon jam. When it's gonna be restocked, I promote it for everyone to get. And and then just we got along pretty well, and then basically I was just consulting on like whether like this equipment, that equipment, and then after it like we just had a space, and the space is super nice, right? But it's not where you kind of like you cannot like afford there a huge bar and stuff, and like to put everything. So it's pretty compact, though. In a way, I feel like it's because of it, it's even better because you don't need to like do a steps in between processes. So you're just like staying almost all the time in one point, and then you're just like rotating from like left side to the right and there and forth. So basically, the ergonomics of the space dictated how could the possibility of the layout, because the pipe for the water for machine is at one place, and also the thing that like for rinsing the water is at the same place, and then
Yeah.
it goes how it goes. And then we just like around this, we just seen like what could be the best position of what we have, and etc. And then that basically how we get to a point where we are now. I think from like workflow perspective, I enjoy it generally. It's super easy. We haven't been like insanely busy with like line state for like an hour or something.
Oh,
but
you wait after this episode. You wait.
Let's see. Yeah, so but I mean, we constantly have work, and I'm feeling pretty comfortable in executing the orders, and I think it allows to provide the quality that I would like to provide, basically.
So you mentioned a little bit ago about having some seasonal offerings in the cafe, and I was wondering, like, do you plan on maybe doing some sort of a tasting menu, for example, where you pair certain coffee with a certain bite? Because you guys do some sweets that are of your own making, like cookies and cakes and things like that. But also the jams are super nice as well. I can attest to that. They are awesome. And I was thinking maybe, I don't know, like a tasting menu paired with the jams paired with a coffee that has like the same tasting notes. That would be cool. Like, I don't know, are you guys planning something similar?
We actually do, and we actually had a conversation like this with one of friends of mine, and it kind of goes to the same topic of having pop-ups. So yeah, we're definitely planning on this as soon as the seasons of different fruits, vegetables, and etc. gonna happen. And also, I would really love to do it with some super special coffees that wouldn't be like, I mean, we do have amazing coffees that is like super high quality green bean, nicely roasted, that like anyone could have a great cup of coffee and at their shop and at their house and like anywhere, also outdoors. So yeah, but I do also want to offer something that is like super unique and that wouldn't be as that kind of is not easy to get or something like this. So if I want to provide with this like certain experience and ask for this tasting menu a certain price, I want to be sure myself that like if I would see that, I would be so stoked, and I just want to get something that like I would be super overexcited to do and to taste. And like if as soon as all of these kind of ingredients gonna come together, I'm 100% sure we're gonna do it.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to
right.
that. In terms of like just going a little bit back to the design of the place and the way it currently looks like when you enter, just for the listeners, the place is very minimalistic, let's call it that way.
Exactly.
Right now, at least.
It's gonna be like this.
It's gonna stay like that, okay. Which is nice because it has air and it has like a clear flow of people. Like when you enter, you know how you need to enter in order not to make like a crowd in one place, which is something I've recently been into and researching. So in terms of the design of the place, is there something you would like to change or maybe add to? Just curious.
So at the moment, that I would say it's great. Like I enjoy it personally. Like we had been waiting for tables because there was like a special order and it took some time to execute. But generally, I enjoy it. Like the tables was like this last puzzle to make the whole flow of, and also the whole experience in the way I want people to experience it. So because we're super small, so it's 5 places inside and we have 1 bench outside. But like now it's not really the time. It's I still kind of want people to have a seat, to have this maybe not like super long time, but like to have this like moment of like just calmness, to enjoy the coffee, and to like to have somewhere like to put this coffee and to like etc. And it's super the fact that we finally at the stage when like after the soft opening and etc. where like everything came together, and I'm super satisfied with that. The thing is that we might, in the summer, we might get the like chairs, tables for the outside, but it's also a matter of like regulations that we'll
see.
Yeah,
because the municipality is a whole other beast. Yes, I understand that.
But if we're gonna have it, I would be also super, super happy, because what could be better, because this specific street is Marin Derinov. It's super shady, especially in this part. So in the summer, it will be.
In a sense, there's a lot of trees, people. Don't worry, you can still go there.
Not even trees, but it's like the street is small, so like most of the time there is a shade on one side or another, and so it's like in the summers I believe it will be super cool. And also we have plans to introduce some like to open for glass some wines, because we do offer also natural wine, and I'm also super excited and I really love natural wine, so I would be also super happy to serve it and etc. So it's a whole another story and whole another opportunity, but like with also outside seating, especially in a more warm time of a year, I feel like it's gonna be just incredible.
Yeah, especially chilled natural wine.
Oof! Don't say it out loud.
It's too cold. Right now, I see you have a colleague already. How do you feel that dynamic is going? In a sense that I'm just curious, like what's your take on a dynamic working with other colleagues? Like I'm just interested in that, because to me, working as a barista, I'll tell you where I'm coming from. So to me, working as a barista is more like if you have your own workflow and certain way of doing things, it's very hard to kind of let go and let someone else do their own thing in the same space. I'm not working as a barista personally, but in my kitchen, I feel like the head, I'm like, I don't allow anyone to be in the kitchen when I'm in the kitchen. Like when I'm outside of the kitchen, you do whatever you want, but when I'm in the kitchen, just get out. You can wash your hands and that's it.
My kitchen, my rules.
Yeah, exactly. How do you feel about that in the bar and like working in a working environment?
So there is this thing that the bar is pretty compact, and the workflow as for now and for the amount of work that we have is a one-person job, and the workflow as for the moment is for one person. It could be for two, meaning one person taking orders and maybe putting pastries or like packing them, and another person who would execute the drinks. This is it. Generally, like if we're like, let's say we are getting super busy and we need like two people who do drinks and one person who takes the order, let's say like the best case scenario that is actually super possible. But so there always, the thing is that like the flow would definitely be rethought and re-optimized. And this is one thing. The other thing is that usually when you have a super busy bar where you need to have two people on a drinks, it's one person who would do bases like with the matcha or prepare espresso or etc. It really depends. And another person who would do frothing. So you need to have this clear, you need to have this clear separation, because then two people who would work together would actually make the things worse other than better, because it's like a fight for who are doing what. So this is super important. And I mean, generally, the idea of managing and the idea of like telling to someone what to do and how the things are going are kind of fresh for me, because it's never been a case, and I'm also just learning how it's actually going. And it's a hard job, and it's very important to have this border of like, I'm doing my job, you're doing your job, and also then after a certain like rush or something, if something is not going well, to kind of separate the emotions from like what is actually supposed to be fixed. And like, if you're angry or something, you're swallowing it, you're doing your job, and then you're like taking action and fixing something that in a workflow or at this and that. It really depends on the situation. And I mean that I believe that like cold mind is like the most important thing, and to kind of directly show or tell, or I mean communicate something that is that prevents the smooth service to happen.
What is your biggest like pet peeve when it comes to how you were managed before your current place of work? 'Cause right now you're more like a head barista, let's call it.
I think it's a little bit a stretch, because it's kind of me and like maybe one more person, sometimes only me.
I mean, when you have help, you're the one telling, like, do this, do that.
Right.
Which puts you in kind of like a mid-management position, more or less. So I'm curious, like, what is your pet peeve when it comes to how you were managed when you were under someone? Like, what was the one thing that really bugged you, annoyed you, so to speak? Like, if you can summarize it, let's say.
If I account, I have been working in at least 5, maybe 6 coffee shops. I think 5, depends. I think exactly the thing that I told that I value, the clear communication. I think that sometimes could be a problem. And also the other thing around is that, like, just different people see the communication differently, and sometimes something that could be clear for you is not clear for the other person, etc. So I think that it's super important even before it to get to understand what is what for you and for employer and etc. So like, if you say this should be done like good, first say what is good. This I think is like the most important, like just to understand that like you're using the same alphabet.
I think communication is definitely one thing it's always important, no matter where you work, whether it's coffee shop or corporation. Like, miscommunication happens everywhere, that's for sure. And I also think another, like, for me, for example, as a consumer, of any time I go to any coffee shop or restaurant, whatever it may be, anytime I see a situation where, let's say, whatever, bartender, barista, or a waiter, doesn't matter, like, they can do some small mistake or something, and when I see their supervisor coming and in front of the customer is like reprimanding them for what they did, like, to me that's super poor management. I seriously hate when that's happening. And I really think people need to learn that running a business, not that I've run many businesses, but unfortunately I've read too many books about how to do it. And I do realize there is like a big gap between what's written in a book and what it's actually happening in the field, so to speak. But still, the one thing I think business owners need to realize is that running a business and managing people are two very different things. And the fact that you're good in one thing doesn't necessarily mean you're good at the other thing. And people need to really accept that. And what you said about like having clear boundaries and knowing who does what. But also, I think on the flip side is that, yes, having a clear boundary in a cafe setting, for example, of like, okay, you do espressos, I'll froth the milk, for example, so we don't clash for the little limited physical space that we have. If people are very, like, I don't know how to say it, like narrow in their heads and narrow-minded, so to speak,
like tunnel vision.
and if they don't pay attention still to what the other person is doing and what's happening around them, it can still lead to some misunderstanding, because you cannot be a robot and only do the milk.
Right, yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know, customer comes in, or espresso blockhead blocks, or whatever it may be, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah. Okay. I want to steer our conversation towards coffee a little.
Right.
What's your favorite coffee? Like origin. Let's
Origin.
see origin. Yeah.
I think I'm not thinking in these dimensions.
You're not thinking in origin.
Like,
right?
I mean,
for you it's geishas only.
Let's-
We know it.
no, wait. First of all, not really. Like, because I was always overhyping myself about the varietal and stuff. It is important, and it's like nice thing, to know, because like coffee has like so much layers, not only taste, not only process, etc., but also like who done it, what is it, like, like the same thing with wine. It's you have two things, like two glasses, each one is red, and like one had been gonna be presented to you in one way, one in another. It's gonna be two same wines, you're gonna perceive it differently, let's say, because still, even this research about like different color of cups that actually changes your perception of the flavor, that apparently is true, that could sound like a total bullshit. But like, I would say that I tend to enjoy more like Colombia coffees. I tend to enjoy a lot Kenyan coffees. I tend not to be a fan of Ethiopian coffees due to the earthiness.
Straight in my heart.
Right. But on the other side, sometimes I do really feel like Ethiopian coffee, and sometimes each specific strain of coffee, farmer, etc., could really surprise you. So sometimes I could, like, if I want to just like get through the question super fast, I could say one origin and process and say geisha or something. But like, I think the question is like super much more complex than this, and it's just I'm because I'm a person who is irritated when someone says I drink only this, because like, why? Like, there is like why would you narrow your taste preferences if no one could really say until you have a sip if you like it, just by varietal, etc., and even notes, like, because these notes could be presented in different way, it could be perceived in different way, the fact which tangerines you had been eating and which tangerines had been eating the roaster who cupped this coffee and put these notes there, it's all different questions.
Yeah. In that sense, like, how do you feel about using the cafe as a sort of a platform to teach people, to about different tastes of coffee, like pure tastes, beyond nerds. Let's call it like
Right.
Because that there is like always someone walking in, like myself, for example, and I'm like, hey, I brought you this super horrible, funky, anaerobic, natural.
And I'm saying, yeah, finally, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's someone like who only drinks, I don't know, their cappuccinos and never had a clear espresso shot, for example.
I would say that there is a couple approaches that I'm applying. So sometimes what I like to do, if I brew something for myself and I see that it's super enjoyable and I see someone who could potentially appreciate it, I would for sure share it, because I think it's super important, because that's how the industry is growing, not by selling more drinks, but by like opening up new flavors for people. And then they would, it's not only that, they would maybe will switch their, go to drink, or it's not that like they would, I don't know, buy more coffee for home or something. That, like if we're speaking business wise, it is helping industry to grow. But from another perspective, also the person has and realizes the value of given, product more. And this is like how it actually grows. Like as soon as someone realize for oneself that it's actually more than you could think of, it becomes it. And unless the person realizes it, it's not. So it's like quantum physics in a way.
Yeah.
So that's first thing, that like the sharing is super important. But also don't share the coffee that you may not like or you may not recommend, because it would kind of do the opposite job. That sometimes I accidentally did in my life. That but it's also fine. From another perspective, we can think of, also people, some like, people want to enjoy their coffee, and like if people are just enjoying their coffee as it is, and maybe they don't really want to learn anything more, and I believe it's super fine, it's super great. Like if person knows the taste preferences, the go-to drink, and etc., and there is no desire to change it, I don't really want to change it, because as long as people are enjoying this coffee, it works. And then it doesn't really matter like in which way, because it end up fulfilling people's needs and people's something that also from another side is like the ritual that person could do for just like relaxation, or just to switch from one thing to another, that is like on a break or something, that is like just super important. And sometimes I think maybe this stability is vice versa, super like giving people this belief of like something is fucking stable in this world.
Yeah.
At least my coffee here is tasty. I don't want anyone to come to me and say, you don't know a shit.
Yes. Yeah. The fact that you're drinking it with sugar is ruining it.
Right. So if I kind of sum it up, it's like try to provide as much useful information that people could be curious about, and if it goes further, you just elaborate, and if it's not, just execute the things that you're doing as good as possible, so people are enjoying the final product. And it's from the fact that specialty coffee had been prepared as controversial opinion, but if from the fact that specialty coffee had been prepared as latte with salted caramel or with lavender latte or something, it's not stopping to be specialty.
Yeah.
And this coffee also should be enjoyed in this way. And if we can as an industry cover more people and make them drink something that had been sourced, roasted, responsibly with the fair trade and fair paid wages for the people who grow it. Like, why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Because it's never gonna be a minus. Yeah, the representation wouldn't be as clear as it can possibly be, but let's be fair. I myself started as a person who drank the latte with salted caramel, and without it I would, maybe I would never be at the place where I am without this latte with salted caramel.
I agree. I also started with double espresso shot mocha with no whipped cream in Starbucks. So,
right.
Yeah, a lot of cinnamon and nutmeg went into it too. So I don't know. It's still my guilty pleasure in the winter time. So yeah, sometimes I'm in for something sweet.
Right.
In a liquid form.
Absolutely.
But what you're saying actually is goes back to being a manager of people. Air quoting here, the word manager, but manager in the sense of being able to read people, read the room. That's soft skill that I, as someone who has been in customer service for more than 12 years already, for not hospitality customer service, but goes the same way, I would say. You have to really read the room, read the people that come to you. Not everyone is in the mood for explanation, how fairly this coffee was grown. They just want the fix to be on their way, and some people are curious and things like that. Another question: filter coffee. Let's talk filter coffee because we nerd on filter coffee. Do you guys offer filter coffee in TARM?
We surely do. So sometimes I'm bringing some toys, if I can say so. Yeah. Like Oria or April. So something just to, to have opportunity to offer something that is, not usually being offered around.
Yeah.
I also plan, and I am ordering UFO brewer that will be also offered pretty soon, and I'm super excited about it because I kind of feel like from the other side even of having a different coffee to also prepare some coffee with different brewers is just it's just exciting by its own. And another opinion is I'm not finding myself being a fan of conical drippers much more than flat bottoms, and I was trying.
Controversial. The controversy over here. What's going on? You're breaking my heart for a second time.
Right.
What's happening?
Right. It's just it is what it is. Cannot make anything with that. But I was trying to make myself fall in love with April brewer, with Oria brewer. They are good. They are producing great results, but
the switch is the switch.
Yeah. Coming back to the topic, what we offer. Yeah, we do offer switch, Hario switch, and we also offer percolation, just regular V60.
Yeah.
With switch part unattached, basically.
For the listeners, just to explain what the switch is. Basically, imagine a V60, that plastic conical
porcelain
apparatus. Yeah, it could be porcelain too. Good point. And the switch is basically like an outside kind of glove, let's say, that fits in the bottom of the V60. And it actually allows for the brew to be brewed not only through percolation but also through
immersion.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just popped out of my head at the wrong time. But anyway, so yeah, that's what the switch is. And you've been trying to convert me to it. I will buy a switch and try it out for sure. Because I only recently discovered the beauty of using a frozen ball, which in my case is not a ball. It's it's a cube. Because I have those whiskey cubes that are metal. and you freeze them in your freezer. But I don't have a stand for the whole thing, so it's...
Okay, so we're ordering Paragon together?
Oh man, I'm not giving that for that. No way. I just need a stand where I can actually put the ice cube. Because right now I'm using like a very small strainer. I put it inside and then I put 360 on top. Works just fine.
Yeah.
Still.
Saves you $300 or $400.
Yeah, no, I agree. But, something maybe 3D printed, just something super easy. Yeah.
We're suckers for 3D printed stuff.
So, elaborate on the Switch a little bit more.
So, the Switch is like super amazing, and I found just by like trying, I think, the Tetsukasuya recipe and also the recipe of the guy, super nice Q grader, and he has a channel on the YouTube called Coffee Chronicles. Very, very useful. Like all of his videos are like super to the point. Like let's say, sometimes if you watch Lance's videos, it's like there is so much of like, him singing or something that, I still do enjoy it, though, sometimes to get to the bottom of it, it gets like fairly 20 minutes out of 30 is like, sorry to say, but I still do love them both a lot. But like he has like 10 minutes videos where it's like that is like full of very useful information. And yeah, I really encourage everyone, if you're curious about stuff, because he has a lot of and recipes and gear reviews and literally everything about like origin, roasting, water, everything in depth. And again, he's a Q grader, so he is the person whom you can trust, and he's not even selling it to you. That is super weird. And so basically it's the Switch, again, Gaming Back to Switch is like super, super reliable. So more or less, knowing your giving water and approximate roasting degree, you can do the same recipe, even with the same grind size with different coffees, and it more or less gonna hit the spot. Let's say if you see that it runs kind of slow, you just like close the switch and like 330, and this is it. And like, yeah, it's gonna be more dense, less out, more tight ratio, but it won't be like you won't feel unsatisfied in the end. As well, the immersion part gives you more kind of stable brews because there is no water flow, so there is less possibility of different variables to come in. And another thing is that you can always use a lower temperature water while immersing to get like more rounded result. If you feel like more acidity, if you feel like more like time over a temperature, that is super nice. So really the amount of like experiments and like different recipes, let's say, or you do close on the bloom and you do super long bloom with low temperature, or vice versa, you do super short bloom, second pour as usual, then close and do cold immersion part in the end to kind of not over extract this last pour that usually gives you that bitterness that we don't really want to have in the end cup. So yeah, it's really, really, really nice, and it's kind of it like after a certain amount of you using it gets super intuitive, like how to twig it, and it's amazing. And I really encourage like everyone to try it because it really makes your cup of coffee more stable, and it gets you the result that is super excellent, much faster than any other brewer that I've tried.
Well, you guys can expect a Switch recipe on the Patreon for the podcast, because it's over there. We have a very special database of recipes from all our guests. exclusively for the patrons of the podcast. So you can expect his recipe there. Or if you go drink coffee,
Right.
I'll tell you. Well, I know we're kind of nearing on time. So I first wanted to really thank you for agreeing to be on the podcast, be a guest. It was super nice and fun talking to you. And before we wrap up, I have a few blitz questions. So again, shout out to Andy and Coffee Cut Roasting and his podcast. And I took the idea from him because I really like it. And it's a couple of blitz questions, so don't think, just answer. Filter or espresso?
Filter.
All the time.
Right.
Washed, natural, or fermentation, any sort of funky?
Everything.
Everything.
Depends on the mood.
Depends on the mood.
Washed.
Come on, you're lying.
Washed.
Like that.
No. The fact that I enjoy anaerobic as well is not meaning that I don't love washed. You touch the sensitive part.
And my final question would be the Oreo or the April brew.
Oreo.
Nice. All right. Well,
Origami.
No.
With Oreo papers.
Before we wrap it up, I want to also give you an opportunity to ask me something if you want to. Like, you're not obliged to ask me anything if you don't have any questions, but feel free to if you want to.
Okay, I never ask you. I don't know if someone asked you, but like, how did you actually start like being into coffee? Because if it was like 10 years ago, how the hell on earth it happened?
You apparently didn't listen to the trailer of the podcast.
I didn't.
No, I'm joking. It's in Bulgarian too, so I'll tell you regardless. I actually started, like, I was literally trying to pinpoint how many years ago it was, but I thought it was 8, judging by a recent conversation I had with some friends. It maybe actually 10 years ago or something, so it's around 8 or 10 years ago. I read an interview with Mr. Dabov, and in a food magazine that was coming out, and at the time, so I got interested and I researched their website, and I saw they had some like courses for home baristas, just like an introductory course to coffee and whatever. So I signed up. It was like a half-day course. And towards the end of the course, like I remember vividly a few things from that day. First was that I had the most caffeine I had in my entire life up until that point. So at around 10:30 a.m., I was literally shaking. I could feel the heart beating in my ears. It was so bad. And then I will never forget that first cup of Chemex that I had, that he brewed towards the end of the course. Because in the beginning we had like espressos and we had a V60 and we were talking and whatnot. We had a Chemex, and I think I might be wrong. It was Ethiopia washed. So that literally blew me away in terms of taste, because it was very different from the mocha pots I was drinking at my parents' place. You know, the Lavazas
Right.
of the world. Which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, to each their own, but definitely not the cleanest and sweetest cup out there. So I was hooked. I immediately bought the Chemex after the course. Like, as soon as the course was over, I was like, yep, I'm getting it with 20% off. I don't care. And of course, I bought the big one because I knew nothing. So I bought the big Chemex. I bought a pack of coffee. I bought filters, and yeah, here it is.
10 years later.
10 years later.
Crazy.
Yeah. And actually, to be honest, I'm trying to really recall how the whole thing progressed for me, because yes, it started then, but there were a few years like that I wasn't really that active. At that point, Double only had their first coffee shop on Leuven Street. And Chucky's were just starting out. Dreka were just starting out here in Sofia. So this whole thing was just starting out, literally. And I don't know, I was just going to coffee shops, trying things. At some point in my previous work, I was working in a just corporate job, but we had we moved offices quite a few times, and the last office we settled on was actually near Leuven, near Delft, and we had our own barista, actually, like our very own barista. He'll be on the podcast too because he's a good friend already after so many years.
Cute.
So with him, we started talking. I had some other friends who also got nerdy about it. One friend in particular introduced me to James Hoffman. He was like, oh, this guru guy on YouTube, like whatever he says, I do, got that kind of talks. So I checked James Hoffman out actually like first when I got to YouTube, because at that point my YouTube history was all makeup. So yeah, I didn't have any coffee in it. Now there's no makeup, just coffee.
Just coffee.
But yes, it just kind of progressed from there, I think. And now only in the recent years, like 3-4-ish, kind of, I think just a little bit before the pandemic kind of happened, I started getting more and more into it. And I think I really kind of opened up through joining the AeroPress, the championships, the second installment of it, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
I did.
Yeah. And yeah, just got very nerdy about it. And now it's Nordic Coffee Festival, my man.
Right.
It's that.
Right.
Yeah. Tim Wendelbo is going to be there, so do you want something from him?
Of course. Something anaerobic.
Something anaerobic.
Because my favorite is washed.
Okay. I know you want to. All right. Well, again, thank you so much for
No, thank you.
joining me on the podcast.
It was so nice talking.
Yeah, it will be out somewhere probably, in 2 weeks' time.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'll let you know. No worries. Yeah, and talk to you soon.
Sure. Thank you very
you.
much.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of BG Coffee Podcast. I hope you liked it. Please do consider subscribing to the podcast on your streaming platform or leaving me a rating. That really helps out with the algorithms, as we know. I also look forward to any feedback or questions that you might have. My socials are with BG Coffee Guide everywhere. You can also do that through my website, bgcoffeeguide.com. And talk to you soon. Bye.